I see why men are staying single, because look around. We have women out here bragging about not cooking, not cleaning, not taking care of their home, not being soft, and not being supportive. And then expecting a man to show up as a provider, leader, planner, protector, and lover, while giving him absolutely nothing in return. And yes, I will be the one to say it. A home needs a woman who actually enjoys being a woman. A woman who takes pride in making her home feel warm and peaceful. A woman who loves her man in the same way that she wants to be loved. That is not oppression, that is care. Men are tired of being treated like a walking wallet. Tired of disrespect. Tired of begging for affection and a little peace. So, they are choosing to stay single, not because they hate women, but because they are looking for a woman that values her role just as much as his. And honestly, I don't blame them, because relationships only work when both people show up and give.
The main problem is parents aren't raising girls to be wives. Men are staying single because so many women want a husband but don't want the work that comes with a real relationship. Marriage used to mean partnership, not convenience.
Why successful men stay single? It's often the same mechanism that makes men savage in the workplace that also makes them extremely intelligent when it comes to women. For example, successful men know how to sniff out desperation and entitlement. Most women want their lifestyle, not them, so they become experts at sniffing that shit. They don't settle.
And unfortunately, I get messages from women saying things like, it's 2026, we don't care about men, we don't care what men want. We hear a lot about toxic masculinity, but what isn't spoken about as much is toxic feminism and the damage that that's done. And this is a prime example of that in action, where we see women living sadly in somewhat of an echo chamber where there's so much resentment towards men. And it's not women's fault, by the way, it's not men's fault. It's society and the way we've been conditioned and how we're now kind of pitted against each other. And the fact that some women are being so triggered and so offended by what I'm saying, which to me isn't very controversial at all, actually. I understand why in this climate in society, why some people might perceive it as controversial, but ultimately I'm just trying to encourage people to have happy, fulfilling relationships with each other and with yourself. I think those people just need to pause and think about why they're being triggered by this. What narrative have women been fed to make them believe that greeting their partners nicely with a hug and a kiss when they're coming from work, for example, is oppression? There just seems to be so much anger towards men, and I get it. There are bad men out there, I know that. But there's a lot of really, really amazing, great men out there too. You don't have to live a life full of resentment and anger towards men and feeling the need to be hyper-independent, unhealthily independent, in this constant struggle mode, this survival mode where your nervous system's completely out of whack. Appreciating the man in your life is not a weakness on your part. Hi, I'm Holly. I explore masculine and feminine dynamics in a way that you've probably not heard before. So if that's something you might be interested in, give me a follow.
Why would any rational, disciplined man sign a contract where the other party can break it whenever they feel like and still legally take half of your life's work? That's not love. That's insanity. That's crazy. Because in the United States, 40 to 50% of all marriages end in divorce. So that's not rare. That's a coin flip. And here's the part that young men need to choke on. Nearly 70% of all divorces are initiated by women. Think about that. Most men aren't walking away. They're being removed from the deal. And when that happens, the government doesn't ask any questions. It doesn't investigate effort. It doesn't audit behavior. It just says, cool, split it. Half the house, half the equity, half your retirement. Sometimes your future earnings. Sometimes limiting access to your own kids. All because you signed a piece of paper that assumed that everybody in the relationship would behave forever. That's crazy. That's insane. Marriage is the only contract on planet Earth where the person who breaks it can be rewarded more than the person who upheld it. Quit a job, you don't get a paycheck. Breach a business deal, you get sued. You walk away from an investment, you eat the loss. But marriage, you can leave and still send the man the bill. Now, I already hear outrage forming in the minds of women. What if he stopped doing what he did in the beginning? What if he cheated? What if he emotionally checked out? Cool, but let's stop pretending this is a one-sided fairy tale. It takes two people to tango. Let me ask you a question. What did you do to make him stop wanting to you? When did sex turn into a weapon instead of connection? When did respect turn into constant nagging? When did you become entitled? When did he go from being your man to being behind the kids, the dogs, your phone, your stress, your crazy moods? When did you stop serving this relationship and just think you're just going to kick back and collect all the benefits? When he quietly became the provider, the protector, the fixer, the emotional punching bag, the walking ATM, well, you brought nothing but expectations and complaints. And then you wonder why it failed. No man wakes up one day and says, I think I'm going to blow up my family today. They drift after being ignored. They disengage after being disrespected. They shut down after being treated like a utility instead of a man. And instead of self-reflection, the story's always the same. I wasn't happy. I deserved more. I outgrew him. Funny how personal accountability evaporates right when the system rewards an exit. And that's the real issue. The system doesn't care who stopped showing up. It doesn't care who withdrew the intimacy. It doesn't care who poisoned the household. It just redistributes assets and moves the on. That's not partnership. That's legal roulette. So read your contract, understand the incentives, and stop confusing tradition with intelligence. Because if it's a bad deal on paper, it's a bad deal in real life. And men are finally waking the up and asking the only question that matters. Why in the would I ever sign that?
Women, men are not chasing y'all anymore in this 2026. Best believe a lot of men now have their physical and mentally and financial stability to the max. So if you guys want to play games and make him chase you and shit like that, nah, they ain't doing that anymore. They will replace you quick. So if you like a guy and he meets your standards in whatsoever way you know how to balance it with him, work with him, because he will not chase you. Ladies, do not be wasting time. You like the guy, he likes you, he treats you good, and you want to treat him good as well, go for it. Don't make him trying to chase you, man. Like, that's long, bro. The fuck?
So let me get this straight, y'all. This is now the third person, by the way, broke now, who cares? Third female who has told me that she met a guy and he was telling her how he don't chase women. He like women that show that they want him. But what? What is going on today? The men want to be chosen. The men want to be chased. The men want to be taken out on the dates. I don't know what is going on. And I don't know about you, but I refuse. I would never, ever, ever chase a man. In fact, I have just been told just naturally, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but men like to do the chasing. And so I don't know what's up with these new age pick-me's, but has anybody else experienced this? I've already got 3 of my homegirls telling me this, y'all. What is going on today? This is why I'm telling you, y'all, I would just be single before I do all of this stressful stuff that goes on in the dating world. And I mean,
Just a heads up for 2026, yeah, playing hard to get does not work anymore. That advice was perfect for a time when people had less options, less access to other people, less money, less opportunities. That is not now. Now people have the internet, we have everybody that we can talk to, so there is no point in running and chasing after somebody that doesn't appear to want you. This goes for both men and women, by the way. Nobody's chasing you. As soon as somebody expresses interest, you tell them, I think we should just be friends. You better mean it, because no one is going to check and make sure that you're serious. Healthy dating in 2026 looks like communication, effort, consistency on both ends. And if you have any type of problem with that, feel free to thank feminism.
I think a lot of people in our generation suffer, like specifically Gen Z, suffer from the illusion of like the abundance of choice. And what I mean by that is the thinking that you have more options than you actually have. And I'm talking about in terms of finding a wife, finding a husband. I think that people think that they have many, many more potentials than what they actually truly do. When you jump on TikTok and you look good and then loads of people DM you and stuff like that, you think that you have a lot of choices. You think that it's fine, like, I don't even have to put in any effort right now because eventually I'll get a wife, eventually I'll get a husband. I don't actually think that's the reality. How many genuine connections do people make in our generation? I'll wait. Most people our age, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, haven't even been in a relationship. They haven't even had like a genuine, meaningful relationship. All we know is situationship. I think everybody thinks eventually one day they'll just stumble across their wives, stumble across their husband because they have so many choices. You actually, in reality, you don't. Social media makes us think that we're more desirable than we actually are. Nobody works on their personality. Everyone just works on how they look. Genuinely, people are insufferable. So, to summarize, the Gen Z thing was just cooked. Like, so cooked.
Men are no longer desperate for women, and modern women are absolutely losing their minds over it. For the first time in decades, a lot of men are choosing peace, money, freedom, gym, business, and solitude over emotional chaos. Women were used to unlimited male attention. Now men are ghosting faster, committing less, and tolerating disrespect less. The power shift is frying brains online. Modern men watched divorce course, false accusations, cheating culture, attention addiction, and soft guy humiliation, and quietly decided, yeah, I'm good. The average man used to chase women relentlessly. Now, a lot of men barely text back. That sudden emotional detachment terrifies women more than anger ever could. Women say, where are all the good men? Meanwhile, good men are at the gym, working, stacking money, avoiding drama, and protecting their peace. The brutal irony: women beg men to become softer, more emotional, more vulnerable. That lost attraction when men actually did it. Now men are adapting backwards. A man with options and self-respect is becoming emotional unavailable by choice, not because he hates women, because he finally understands attention isn't love. Men are slowly realizing being alone is infinitely better than becoming emotionally drained by inconsistent women. That realization changes everything. The modern dating market shifted. The second men stopped being desperate because women are used to controlling thirsty men, not disciplined men who can walk away peacefully. Women will destroy you if you don't understand that. If you can't read them, you can't lead them. If you can't lead them, you get played. Most men learn this after they already lost. Learn female nature and stay unreplaceable. Follow me for more information about how women actually works.
I realized how little game that I had with men until one time I was out at a bar with my friends, and I'd had a few drinks and my ego was getting a little bit too high that night. And I think I was running a little bit low on money.
So you're broke.
I don't know. I just couldn't afford to buy myself drinks all night. Why did I go out? I know it was my fault. But anyway, Stupid. Me being dumb and having too many drinks already, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go find a guy that'll buy me a drink. But I didn't really want to put much effort into it.
Shocker.
So I'm with my girlfriends and I'm like, what should I do? How should I, what should I say? How should I find a guy? Whatever. So they point at this guy that was across the bar that was kind of looking at me. And they were like, you have to walk up to that guy. He's already looking at you, blah, blah, blah. He looks interested. And I was like, okay, what should I say? And I was like, should I just literally walk up and be like, you really look like you want to buy me a drink right now? And my friends were like, yeah. They were hyping me up.
Oh, your little chicken-headed friends. Yeah. Not a good idea.
So much. They're like, you have to say that. That's so perfect. It's not. But anyway, I got so much courage up, and I finally walked over to him. He was standing there with two of his guy friends, and I just tap on his shoulder, and he turned to me, and I was like, you really look like you want to buy me a drink right now. And you want to know what he said? He looks me dead in the eyes and goes, "No, I don't."
Gotcha, bitch.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just go flush myself down the toilet or something. Like, Jesus.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, this is why I say in chat, put a one in the chat if you agree. Women don't have game. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. When I was growing up, I never met a chick that had game that was like, oh, she was a smooth talker. You know, she really knew how to schmooze. No, all girls know how to do is look cute. That's it. You want to have good game as a girl? Like, ask questions to a guy and laugh at all of his crappy jokes. And guys will be like, oh my God, she loves me. It's really not that hard. Agree with what he says. It's not hard. Guys are not hard. That's what's so funny to me, though, is that women don't even have that basic understanding of men. Because in my opinion, and put a one in the chat if you agree, men have to understand women to sleep with them, but women do not have to understand men to sleep with them. No, not at all. Men are definitely the superior species when it comes to the mental gymnastics that it takes to court coitus amongst the other sex. Look at your boy using the big words in the morning. Court coitus. All right, what do we have here? Masculine men don't want. I love it when a woman tells me what I don't want.
Do not want masculine women. I've noticed that a lot of
Okay, all right. Never. You know what I mean? She's actually. Okay, you know what I mean? She's on our side. I'm sorry.
Type women who are loud, who are boss babes. They'll complain that there are just no good men out there. I'll hear them say that men are just intimidated by them, that they're like afraid of their energy and stuff. That's not true. The truth is they just don't like them. I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but it is just reality. If you want to find a good man, you have to let yourself be a feminine woman. Men do not care how much money you make. They're not impressed by your degrees
Fact.
or what job you have. Modern feminists and just our current society send women messages from the time we're little girls that in order to have a happy, successful life, you need to basically become a man. You need to have all their traits. You need to be a leader. You need to be loud. You need to be strong. In reality, women competing with men just leaves us feeling icky and alone and bitter.
What kind of man wants and losers? You want to compete with men? Cool, men ain't gonna hold back. A few things to unpack here. A man being intimidated by a masculine woman is like a woman being intimidated by a feminine man. We're not intimidated by that. We're, if anything, we're annoyed. It's just like you would be annoyed by a feminine man. And then there was another point that she made. I've always said, and then put one in the chat if you agree. Modern women nowadays are basically turning into the men that they've always wanted to be with. They're career driven. They're trying to get their money up. They're trying to get their status up. They're trying to get clout amongst their network up. When in reality, that's not what you should be doing as a woman if you want to be in a relationship. Is chivalry dead? And if so, who killed it? Oh, my balls hurt. They need to be drained.
I raised up. I'm sorry, her leg.
Well, and dude, here's the thing. You're strong and independent. You don't need no man. Therefore, you can stand up on the train. I don't care if you're wearing nice heels. I don't care what you're wearing. You chose to wear them. It's your fault. POV, your girlfriend has to prove her strength by carrying everyone's luggage. Dude, what a strong and independent. Hey, Rebecca, watch out for that glass vase I have in there.
Let daddy work.
Everything in there is broken.
Is that strength?
Everything in there is broken. You know, I wanted to bring back this bong, but I think it shattered in my luggage when Rebecca loaded it. My husband and I, we should start cooking together. It would be so intimate.
Oh, that's what it is. It's like this.
What is your obsession with adding a cup of flour to the recipe? The recipe is perfect. The recipe was just perfect. I didn't mess up the measurements when I made it.
His levels of hate.
Dude, this is why, like, and I don't care if you're more traditional like me and you like, you know, you like women to be in the kitchen, or if you're a little bit more of the equality type where you like both people in the kitchen.
5 grown men walk by, able-bodied men walk by as I struggle to like carry all of my and help this poor mother with 3 children carry her stroller down the stairs. They just looked and kept walking. I'm literally like dropping my umbrella and everything. They just keep on walking.
Well, this is the pandemic we live in. Maybe it's even an epidemic at this point, where modern women think their problems are other men's problems. Chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. As a man, we understand that my problems aren't your problems. I feel like most guys understand this phenomenon, right? None of my problems are your problems, and I don't expect you to treat them as such. Women have this weird conundrum where they think their problems are supposed to be understood and represented by other men, and we're supposed to step up and save them. Baby girl, if you're not draining a pair of balls, I'm not saving you. Watch me struggle to carry my suitcase up 5 flights of stairs in Italy.
To carry my suitcase up 5 flights of stairs in Italy.
You pick it up. You have 2 hands.
Good Lord, that's a big bag, too.
You got about 3 more of those.
Stupid. Dude, all I gotta say is if you got a bag like that, especially in 2026, you can't even afford to travel with the felt and if you ain't got one of those hard shell cases, you know what I mean? Thing look like it barely got wheels on it.
Like this.
I mean, that doesn't look...
I mean, and also, who booked the Airbnb on the 5th floor? Who booked that?
Have the men given up? I'm serious. They just like stopped. They don't want to have sex anymore. They don't want to go on dates with women. They just want to hang out with their boys. Like, look, I get it. Men want to hang out with men. They want to do their thing. They don't want to care about women drama anymore. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain to me what's going on, because as long as men are not approaching women, they are going to be single. And women are having a great time. From what I've seen, single women are having a great time. Yes, maybe they want boyfriends, they want to hook up, but single women are having a great time. The single men, I don't know, not so much. What do you think?
What is like wrong with men? Why am I out here making the first moves all the time? Like, it used to be that women would give men a look, and then man would see the look, and then he would come over. Why are men making the look at me?
This is that 5-year effect I was talking about. Y'all asked for something, y'all got it. 5 years later, we're complaining now. Y'all were complaining, saying that y'all didn't want men to come up to y'all and bond to y'all. Y'all just want to live life in peace. AKA, they didn't want unattractive men coming up to them. They only want the men that they want coming up to them. But see, the way that this world works, you can't have all pros. You have to have cons. You know, you can't just ask for something and be like, I just want the positives of it and not get the negatives. But that is the way most women's brain work. They ask for things and they only want the positive narratives of the thing that they ask for without never saying the negative parts of what they ask for. You got what you want. Y'all didn't want men to talk to y'all. They didn't want men to come up to y'all, ask y'all, give y'all advice on nothing. And then boom, now y'all have men not coming up to y'all at all. Because you refuse to accept the cons of what you asked for. And to the boys that are becoming men, nowadays they are scared to come up and talk to y'all. Because you know this is a social media ruled world. Pretty much everybody's living their life through the perception of fucking social media now. So basically with these young boys growing into men, y'all are making them insecure. They're afraid to come up and talk to y'all. Generally, because they're hearing all these different social media narratives. You gotta have 6 figures. You gotta be this type of dude. You gotta hang around these type of people. You gotta have this certain look. Oh, we gotta go on these type of dates. And you gotta take me on these type of trips. They're scared, bro. That nigga looking at you like, bro, I'm only 19. I ain't got all that, baby. But in all reality, you probably don't require all of that. But because he's living through the narrative of social media, he believes all that dumbass shit. But what do I know? I'm just a nigga who lifts weights. Have a good day.
What's the worst thing about being a woman in 2026?
That men act like women.
Men are becoming more feminine.
Men are becoming more feminine.
What has led you to believe that?
Just the way they act. They're not masculine anymore. They just act more ladylike.
Do you think the same way women are becoming more masculine? And that's contributing to the shift.
Well, unfortunately, they have to because men are acting more feminine. Okay, I'll continue my walk now. Thank you.
Wait, how do we solve this problem, though?
Act like a man.
Look, she's not wrong. She just doesn't know how to articulate it. People are not becoming the opposite gender. They're just becoming more of what the current environment demands. You see, women today have more freedom than they've ever had before. They've got their own careers, their own money, their own independence. So naturally, their standards have gone up. And their tolerance to bullshit has gone way down because they no longer need a man to survive. So now if a man doesn't add what she can already give to herself, she would rather happily stay single because being alone isn't the worst case scenario anymore. It's being with a man she has to manage, mother, or even worse, take care of. And instead of rising to meet that new standard, a lot of men have gone the other way, avoiding accountability, lacking any form of direction or purpose in their life, and still thinking that the bare minimum is good enough. So it's not that men have become too feminine. It's that the standards have evolved and not everyone's kept up.